You know, there's a lot of differences between the little tractors that we drive and some other construction equipment. Yes, it's a lot more expensive to get construction level equipment, but there's a reason why it's a lot more expensive, and that's what we're going to look at today. Let's get started. We're at a Volvo hosted event today. This is a special deal for us, and this is their customer center. This is where they allow customers, or, and today, us, to come and play with all of their different equipment. Of course, we're especially interested in the smaller stuff. This particular unit is a 2.5 metric ton electric excavator, mini excavator. We've shown it on the channel actually from a trade show before. What we're going to try to do is just to kind of illustrate some of the differences that we see between the tractor-based equipment that we're normally operating. We'll try to go through maybe a little detail of this electric equipment, just to kind of give an overview of what's out there in the bigger stuff, right? Sure, you can watch the construction channels and you'll see those big pieces of equipment operating. In fact, there's several other YouTubers here today. Dirt Perfect's here, Let's Dig 18's here. Several others. It's really a special day for us, but they're going to have a different perspective than me. They use this equipment on a daily basis. They're not even interested in the tiny stuff, let alone the electric stuff. The compact section of this whole facility is vacant except for Tractor Time with Tim, because those guys are all over there with the big stuff. We'll remain focused on the little stuff. That's what we do. So now let's take a little bit closer look at this electric Mini X. Now, believe it or not, this machine is on. The electric motor is not running because they've got it set such that the electric motor goes off after, say, 15 or 20 seconds of downtime. That allows just total quiet on the work site. I would really enjoy that in a lot of our situations, just because we have a lot of talking to do and a lot of communication with you, the viewers, at times. But it is nice just to have it totally stopped, totally silent when we're not actively using it. Let me get my seatbelt on here, and then I can just press this one button and you can hear the motor start up. It's got a throttle just like a traditional diesel engine, and it's got a revolutions per minute, an RPM. And I'm not so sure if this is accidental or not, but the RPM kind of correlates to a diesel. 1100 or 1090 here is the idle, and then they want you running it somewhere up around 14 to 1500, right? So as long as I've got everything engaged here, then the operator controls are exactly like any other excavator. You can switch electronically between backhoe controls, or excavator controls as they're often referred to. The major difference, okay, that we're going to see today is just the difference in hydraulics. This is not the electric unit per se. Even though this machine is electrically driven, the main drive is just driving a hydraulic pump, okay? And all of the unit is driven hydraulically, just like any other Mini X. So you're not going to notice much difference. The only difference you might notice is it's a little stronger, maybe at the lower RPM, just like typical electric. But I don't even know if that's really noticeable, okay? What I can tell you is these controls are, even though they're mechanical controls, they're just so much more sensitive and so much easier to do detail work than what we find in our little tractor backhoes. It would be nice if we had these nicer hydraulics. The smoother performance is partially because of the higher hydraulic oil flow rates and because of more refined and more expensive hydraulic valves. It's got quite a loud whine in it. And that is that hydraulic motor. More accurately, it's the electric motor driving the hydraulic pump. I'm really a little surprised at that. I think maybe they're doing some work to try to reduce that noise. They mentioned on the little articulated loader that they have improved its noise level already, and it's much quieter than the Mini X already. So I think this is the first generation machine. I think we'll see them get better over time. It's just going to take some time to get these things perfected. Now, having said that, The warranty on these things is amazing. I think it's 6 years or something on the, and that includes the batteries, right? So they're taking a lot of the risk away from it for you if you are interested in buying one of these. It's about twice the amount of money as the diesel up front. It would all depend on your usage, your needs, whether something like this would be the right machine for you. 3 to 4 hours probably, I'm guessing 3 hours of actual hard use. I'd like to find that out for myself. Notice it's going to switch off. So, switched off on its own. It's quite strong though. There's no issue with strength on this machine. Now they said the runtime in the real world, they claim 4 to 6 hours. Now, they use a lot of words to say that. They said on the hour meter on the machine, it may be only 3 hours. Okay, but they're saying that turns out to be 4 to 6 hours actual operating time. Now, I'd love to try this to see what it really is. I really think job to job it would vary, right? Sometimes you're running continually and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you work for a little bit and then you are adjusting something and then you work some more, you know, but sometimes you might want to trench for several hours. So I really don't know practically how long the charge is going to be. I think that's one of our biggest questions and probably one of your biggest questions about these machines. The charge time is about 6 hours, which is fine to me. I mean, you know, assuming I had enough power to do what I needed to do in the day, as long as I can charge it in 6 hours, then I'm fine with that. I'll be ready to go tomorrow, right? Smooth operations. I'm not able to demonstrate how smooth it is because I'm not that great of an operator, right? But it is, the controls are very smooth. They do what you tell them to do. Not always what I want them to do, but they do what you tell them to do. What do you guys think? Do you think I should try one of these electric machines or a diesel? I'd really like to have a mini excavator. I'm afraid this 25 is just not quite big enough for what I want to do. I really would like to be able to use a brush mulcher, something like that, and I'm afraid the 25 is just not going to have enough flow. It's not going to have enough weight to hold the mulch head out there. So I'm afraid I may be stuck with a diesel. I may not have a choice with what I'm wanting to accomplish. I've never tried to use one of these excavators on wheels before. I've really kind of wondered what their purpose is, but just in driving out to the test area here, I realized what that is. It's the maneuverability on pavement, being able to use highway transport. You know, if you've got a relatively short distance to travel, you could use this machine and not have to trailer it. Now this one has a tilting bucket. See, you can see it tilt. That would take me a lot of practice to figure out how to actually use. Boy, the controls are just so smooth compared to our little tractors.
Also notice the extra dipper stick arm. We've got one more joint than normal in this one. 6 metric tons up to 13,000 pounds and 63 horsepower.
Handy, handy, handy. I can turn that beeper off by putting it in neutral.
Road speeds 20 miles per hour or so.
No, I'm not that good at it. I'm used to using our little tractors, and you really have to pull the controls all the way on the little tractors. On the bigger machines like this, you've got so much more finesse, right? I mean, I can work just so detailed, and the controls are so much more sensitive. And that makes it hard for me to be a good excavator operator because I have to exaggerate those movements on the little tractor. And so therefore I don't learn that finesse. Like when I watch Mike with Dirt Perfect or Chris with Let's Dig, you know, I mean, I watch just how much finesse they're able to have on these machines. And no, I don't have that yet. It's pretty interesting though. So this is where I can dig right along that wall.
This is an ECR 50. It's 5 metric tons, so that's about 11,000 pounds. It's got about 41 horsepower. Of course, one of the nice features of most of these mini excavators is what they call zero tail swing. No matter how you angle it, the tail will never stick out over the tracks.
There's just no way you could do this with a tractor and backhoe.
What I'm showing here is having the boom offset so that it can dig right along the edge of the wall.
That's why you want that cylinder under the cab, because if it was on the other side, when you swing towards me, you're going to have that drawworks potentially in an area of collision.
Yeah, I mean, visibility is fabulous. And with the controls being sensitive like they are, there's really no risk of an experienced operator hitting that wall. Now, I may hit it. Incredibly handy. Christy, I need one of these. Now, one thing you can hardly do with a tractor backhoe is slide the material back in. Let's see if we have enough strength to do that. Oh, wow.
This machine's float feature is a little more advanced than what I'm used to. You can nudge it downward if you need to.
So it's in float mode now, and I can force it down a little more. And oh, that's a lazy man's approach. Yeah, there's almost no noise.
Hey, I think it's the second time I've ever been in a payloader of any size, so don't criticize the wheel spinning. This is just not the type of machine that I have any use for, but I can see how it'd be a perfect fit for folks that have to load materials all the time. I like these new backup beepers. It's still an obvious noise you're going to take notice of and you're going to realize you got to get out of the way, but it's not so obnoxious.
So quiet. The noise that it does make is very odd.
Looks like I'm going to tip it over. Oh well, nothing so exciting. Hey, I did make my way over to play with some of that bigger equipment. Maybe we'll show you a few clips of that later on. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. He will bless those who fear the Lord, small and great alike.